I bought a $1 million baby at the 5 and 10 cent store. I bought a $1 million baby at the 5 and 10 cent store. Hello, doll friends. This is Michael Canadas with the Grovian Doll Museum and the Carmel Doll Shop. Today we are here with our very good friend BelleAnne Curry. And we share a passion.
Yeah.
It's a secret passion.
Yes.
And you know a little bit and I know a little bit.
I know a little bit.
But I'm a consumer.
Yes.
So we're going to set the stage for you. It's 1923.
Yes.
There's a phenomenon happening in
Yes.
the United States of America, really just in America.
Yes, that's right.
There are people lining up to get the $1 million baby.
Yes.
So we have a story of an artist, Grace Story Putman, who was a highly accomplished artiste,
Yes.
painter, sculptor, and a fresh new widow.
Yes.
And times were hard for women then. And she had to figure out how to make her life work. So
That's right.
she had a newborn son when she became a widow and a daughter. Times were rough, and she had to create her own dolls for her daughter. And as things go, one thing led to another. And you're welcome to come in and tell anything.
I'm just listening.
And one thing led to another.
That's right. And she got an idea. She got an idea as an artist that she wanted to create a baby doll. She made a doll for her daughter called Peter Pan, which I don't think had anything to do with the book. But the little girl played with the cloth doll and played with it until the thing fell apart. So she began to visualize in her head what she wanted to do with creating this doll. So, I want to make a baby.
There were plenty of baby dolls.
There were baby dolls,
on the market.
That's right. Bright cheeks,
sweet,
big blinky eyes with frilly bonnets and whatever. That's not what she was looking for as a sculptress and an artist. She was looking to make a beautiful newborn baby. So she began working and sculpting, and she got stuck.
All artists get stuck.
She got stuck. She got stuck trying to decide, that's right, we're getting some affirmation back there, what the world she was going to do. So she began...
And do you understand when you're an artist being stuck?
Well,
sometimes being stuck is, I need to go to a fabric store and just look at fabrics and
yes.
get that spark. You need
right.
that outside stimulation, something that makes you think, I can carry on, because you start to think, I've lost it. I can't do this anymore.
That's right. So that's what she began to do. She began to frequent hospitals, places like that, looking for the perfect newborn. And she talks about it in this wonderful book by, what was her name again?
Janet Joel.
Janet Joel, and it's a very old periodical, which I always...
And we should point out to people that there is a lot of information in Janet Joel's books that is that this is not a criticism. They're not accurate.
Yes.
However,
yes.
when she was dealing with contemporary people that were alive at the time that she wrote her book, that's the source.
That's right.
Because
she wrote this in the 1940s.
Yes,
I hate to interrupt.
and I have a correspondence that from Grace that she corrected Janet's information.
Mm-hmm.
So it is in writing that it was corrected, because at that time in the 40s she had those pesky doll collectors.
Oh, the pesky doll collectors.
Yeah, so,
and we all know rumors happen fast, which I'll speak of later in another video. But in this one, there she was, Grace Story Putnam, stuck and saying, she knew in her face, oh, thank you very much. And I mean, there's so much value, and they're not very expensive to go out and find these old books about dolls. Janet Pagter Joel, I hope I'm pronouncing the Pagter right, but there's just so much value in finding neat things. And like you say, Grace Story
It's the
Putnam
dolls that went when the makers were still alive, and she got to them.
And she got to them, and that's extremely important with a situation
where the other
like
things
this.
are kind of, surmising.
Right. So she's making, using material, I think, plasticine, and she's trying to create this wonderful baby head. She goes to hospitals, she goes around town, she even gets communication from people, hey, there's newborns here. She doesn't see it. She said, this one looks like a monkey. This one looks like an old man. This baby has no chin. This one, I can't find it. One day, she gets a phone call. Yeah, that was back in the day.
Yeah, sure, of course.
She got a phone call at the Salvation Army, and I always thought this was just a fake story, but it is not a fake story. This is a true story, that a baby was born out of wedlock, which back in the 1920s was
bad.
A very bad thing, very shameful and very bad. And they gave her a phone call, there's some new babies, would you like to come look? And of course she said, yeah, sure. And she got her marker, she got her pen, she got her paper, and she went out to the Salvation Army. And they brought out an infant. There it was. She couldn't believe it. Everything was perfect on this newborn baby. The head, the little mashed face, the rolls of fat around the neck. She said it was as though angels came down.
A butterball. She called it a butterball.
Yes, a little butterball.
And that would have been, even in our lifetime, a butterball would have been the absolute preferred baby.
Yes, the preferred baby, like a Gerber baby.
Yeah.
But this one, think newborn. This was just a newborn.
3 days
which to
old.
me, the concept of it was very new. You don't see infants and newborns on the market. So she starts copying the baby, she starts jotting, she starts sculpting, she starts putting it together as long as she can. Well, she said the baby slept for 2 hours and allowed her to do this. Then she had to leave. She came back, I think 2 days later or 3 days later, the baby had changed. And as we all know, all of us mothers know how quickly the infants change, and this baby had changed. And she had to do really the rest from memory. And there she created, beautifully sculpted, the Bilo baby.
And it just flowed out.
And it flowed. It just flowed out. It was what she was looking for. So she first took the concept to different manufacturers and different people around New York City, and no, we can't have a newborn.
And I have a theory with that.
Go ahead, I want to hear
Okay,
this.
so the concept of the Bilo was done in World War I era.
Yes.
And it was a flop. The same type of doll, you'd almost could confuse them, and it was a flop.
Right.
So no one wanted another flop, but it's the thing in life, everything's timing.
Everything is time. You taught me that. That's very,
you
very
gotta
important.
know when the time comes.
That's right. That's right.
So along comes probably
George.
the biggest of them all.
Yeah, the biggest of them all, George Borfeld. And he saw the infant, and he saw opportunity, and he saw money, and he said,
he's a cuttlefish. Why not give it a try?
Let's give it. I mean, they had all kinds of innovative things and different things and googlies and stuff that maybe it was good.
You need a new line.
You needed, and he needed a new line, and of course, then it became a marriage. And the Bilo baby was born. And it took off and was an incredible success.
It had a little help, though.
Yes, go ahead.
So since she's a California baby,
yes,
it was California that really put the Bilo on the map. Now, for many years, I've heard that, and I've repeated it, which I might be right and I might be wrong, that it was the child star baby Peggy that introduced the Bilo. And that could be true.
Okay.
But there's a lot of lost film of that time, so there's no proof surviving.
Right.
But there is proof surviving that Darla from our gang, the Hal Roche group, our gang, You know, we have the Our Gang of Our Time watching on TV.
That's right, from the 40s. But this was the 20s, correct?
Yes, there was the silent
From the silent film. It'd be wonderful to find a photograph.
There is. So there's beautiful Darla, because Darla in the 20s was beautiful as she was in the 30s. Beautiful little girl.
Yeah.
So she is in Our Gang with the
Bilo baby,
which I think just lit a fuse.
Yeah, it did. And sometimes people are looking for that something new, that the Cabbage Patch, so to speak, of the Beanie Baby of the or Barbie of the era, and this was that doll.
And I'm going to I'm going to make a statement. I think that this is the most successful art doll ever made, because when you have 14 companies producing just the heads alone,
yes, right?
Because I think one thing we should point out is that ultimately, this is the classic Bilo body,
the frog body,
which feel that. Doesn't that feel
right?
good?
It's weighted. I mean, all you need, where's that head? All you need's a head, and it fits to the little girl or fits to the person, you know, and was cuddly. And
what's interesting is they figured out a way to we can get more product if we have the bodies made in America.
Right.
And
the head's made in Germany.
Head's made in Germany.
Right.
So I'm going to give you the pointer, and we're going to, where should we start?
Well, I guess we can start here at the end. Here's a nice, real nice, unusual, hard to find. I also understand the brown eyes. As you can see, blue-eyed dolls are much more plentiful than your brown-eyed. And this is composition body.
And don't you feel, I feel, BelleAnne, that they started out with the comp and then learned pretty quickly that this is going to slow down these orders.
Right. That's right, because that's a little more entailed and a lot more steps for making that. So they went into, and as you can see, this one has a beautiful, and they're all different. This one has just a gorgeous, gorgeous face and harder to find composition body. And also you've got to understand, this is just the beginning, like the tip of the iceberg of products that were made in the 1920s. Let me come on, Sugar Bear. Smile. Beautiful, beautiful face.
Now this one's not, they're definitely not smiling.
No, they are a little bit of that grumpy when you see a newborn. They are not smiling, but it's a really gorgeous example. But they made buttons. They made all disc. They made, the doll came in a variety and a ton of sizes. The holy grail would be the black Bilo, which I have never seen one in person.
I have seen them.
I know a lady that owns one. She's very fortunate indeed.
And here's another composition bodied, and this one's with blue-eyed. And
they almost look like we've got a different company that's made both of these.
And it could very well be.
Yeah.
Same mold, but a different company producing it.
Correct, correct. And then we can just come right up here and we see two little all bisque wigged. I mean, back in the 1980s, these all went for a premium price.
Well, you know why they did that, because people that had Bilos wanted to replace them. And it was a big thing.
Sure.
And we left out of this story that a lot of our hobby has to do with the Bilo generation.
Yes, it does.
We have today.
Yeah.
That the children in the 20s that got these dolls ultimately in the 50s turned into the first really great collectors.
Sure. And the detail on this is so beautiful. And they have
that one is that a K and K?
Yes, I think it is. Let's see. It doesn't, let's see, no, nothing in the back. They're also all beautifully marked, as we can see here with this
But
doll.
it's hard to determine exactly who made what, because with that many companies, and they're all working on licensing.
Right. Oh, and there it is. Can you imagine a doll this teeny and the eyes this tiny, and she sleeps? And of course, the blue booties are always a big plus.
But they came with pink booties too.
Yes. And here's another blue booty. This is another beautiful example. She really is gorgeous. Love, love, love her face.
And these have wigs.
Yes, the wig. That's a little more unusual too. That used to be just primo. Oh, a wig. I have the wigged all bisque bilo.
And then we have the. This one has had a little accident.
Yeah,
but it's
repairable.
Yeah, it's the classic all bisque with the painted hair.
And there just wouldn't this be fun in a little girl's pocket where she could just hide it at school, you know, and go on.
These two I thought was interesting. These were in our stash, and from two completely different sources, but they both have almost identical clothes.
Yes.
So that kind of leads me to believe that these are commercially dressed.
Right,
however,
manufactured.
Yeah.
They look like they could be twins,
They
you know,
do.
in a little twin situation. They are gorgeous. And the little celluloid hands, that was kind of a trademark. You knew that those were?
And I'm sure that the celluloid hands came from Germany, and then that was all assembled probably in New York City.
Yes. Yes.
Where do you want to go next?
Well, you want to take a look at this lovely big head. This is a larger, now I understand that these heads, these got huge, that you could have the biggest.
Yeah, much bigger than that too.
Much larger than that. But
and could we show them the fat rolls?
Yeah, and the fat rolls in the back. And of course look how beautifully marked it is.
And I believe this one is Altbeck and Gottschalk, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's who that one is.
It is, yeah.
And of course, the bigger they are, the more detail you're going to get in the modeling. I find.
That's also a cool thing.
And shall we go and show them these are not the biggest, but
no,
this is not a 3-day-old baby. Come on.
There you go. There's your K and K.
Yeah, that's a K and K.
And it's cool to find the buttons. Of course, very hard to find. Brown eyes. She has a wonderful face with her big flat nose.
They're almost kind of anime in a way, kind of like a character of a baby.
Wonderful. And here's her other very large sister, which I like the sculpt and the detail on this one especially well.
I do too.
Oh, she had a little boo-boo up here. We'll keep that.
Well, you know what? I think that these there had to be a 50% breakage rate with a big head like this in a short amount of time.
Right.
We didn't talk about the fact that she started out with a bang.
Right.
It went on till the big crash of the 1930s.
Yeah, the crash that killed everything, sure.
And her life changed.
Right, and the bisque went away. You know, the German bisque back in, after World War I and everything began to disappear from the American market.
But she didn't give up.
No.
So one of the things that was very near and dear to her heart was the aviatrix boom of the 30s.
Yes.
And then she created the what?
Then she created Fly Low. And Fly Low, this is Fly Low Baby. So this was supposed to be a Bilo type, the aviatrix doll. And this first came out in bisque, which is, I think, very, very hard to find.
Yep.
This one happens to be composition. And the only thing replaced is the hat. She's all original.
Because it would probably have had like an aviatrix type
I think it would have had an aviatrix type of hat. So we don't even know the story of who Flylo was. What character was she?
Well, it was something that she was very interested in. She even patented a children's costume for the Flylo.
Right.
So it was something that she was trying to capture the magic of the Bilo, and it never...
It was kind of over. It
continued on.
Right.
Like some of the first quintuplet dolls were actually
Bilos
put into, but it never could get to the...
It never got to where it needed to go.
I mean, she ultimately had a big fancy house and all of that, and then she ended up losing it all.
Right.
But should we just talk about this little variation?
I really think he is neat. I think he has just such cool character.
Doesn't he?
Right. So,
I almost think he needs a cigar.
I was going to say Bilo on steroids, but maybe that isn't very nice.
Yes.
But he is a real unusual, a lot of character, but this is not a Bilo baby.
Oh yeah, it's a Bilo.
This is a Bilo?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. It's
Well, now you've got me so excited.
It's just how it's painted. Oh no, this is totally a Bilo.
Oh my gosh.
So it just they did the mouth a little different.
Well, slap me upside the head.
And the curls are very defined on the head.
Yes.
So it could be very early in the mold. But again, we've got 14 companies.
That's
they're
right.
Each finishing
and they're
them.
all right.
They're finishing in a different way.
And and they all have their own interpretation. I'm sure they have certain standards that they have to meet.
And then here's your little cutie, which I informed you that you better pack it up, because I might steal.
Isn't that we love that precious thing. And again, it seems to be, I don't see pink boots, but we have plenty of blue boots going on.
Well, I guess we have a problem. You and me.
A plethora of the blue boots.
Yeah, so maybe.
But look at the painting and everything on this wonderful little doll.
So shall we look at a doll that is, in our career, this is one of the rarest dolls ever.
Yes.
And those of you that are following our Gay Gardens video, this was from the collection of Gay Ward. And I have only seen 2 of these in our whole career.
Yeah.
And this is the Smiling Bilo.
Rare, rare. So what a treat and an opportunity for me to see this in person.
It has the same body as all the rest of them.
Yeah.
And the only real big difference is the molding around the nose, the mouth.
Right.
And did you notice that there's a little tongue tip? Did you catch that?
There, look at this. That is really spectacular.
I'll try to get in there as close as I can.
Yeah. Well, you can kind of see. You see you can see that in there just barely. But this is just an amazing treat and extremely rare to find. And it must not have been as popular as just the sweet infant rested face.
And BelleAnne, it could have come out in the Christmas 1928,
right.
And then
right.
Oops, no orders. I mean, we have no idea why.
That's right.
But I feel that these are really one of the most successful art dolls that was ever made.
Right.
And
the tip of a big iceberg. I mean, they are out there and they are beautiful, and there's figurines and buttons and all kinds of fabulous things if you can find them.
Yeah, and right now for this generation, unfortunately, I think it's sad that people that collect baby dolls kind of within the doll community get discriminated against. And people say, oh, you should collect such and such.
Right.
And I think that this is a wonderful opportunity for this new group of collectors to get these at, I think, really fantastic prices.
Absolutely fantastic prices. So I say everybody, keep your eyes peeled at doll shows, things like that. Because, and even, different venues online, they are available.
So, is there any other information you want to put into share with our audience about these dolls?
Not at this time. What I do want to say to our audience is I want to thank everybody very much for your comments, for your likes, for being, I have made the nicest friends because of coming here to the Grovian. And I want to thank you people. Please, please keep up with your ideas, your comments, your suggestions, and for watching our videos.
Well, thank you, World Doll Day friends. We will be back later with more content for you. Bye-bye. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button.